going to Chicago. Weather's basically the same as it was in LA, but all I have is my SoCal attire, so we'll have to see how I hold up in this Chicago environment. We just got in here. It's a pretty cool, quirky little apartment type place. I'll show it in a quick second. Have to leave pretty much right away though, because we don't have much time to get to this event. The whole day has been kind of rushed. We literally got to the airport and it was already boarding as well, and now we're here and we basically have to drop our stuff off and get to that event. So we're about to head out. Pretty excited to do a talk, went all professional with slides and everything, which is kind of a new format for me, to be honest. So it's cool to get to speak in front of people, something that's still relatively new for me. But the focus of the first two talks is going to be first like picking a $10,000 product and then a deep dive into product sourcing. And then so mine is gonna be kind of that blueprint from how do you go from a 10K product to a 100K a month brand. So you guys know brands get me excited. So that's of course what I'm gonna talk about. Anyways, real quick, showing some cool touches in this place and then we'll head to the meet. Just showed up, getting situated.
Startups and entrepreneurs.
Nice.
Help them get connected.
What's up? Nice to meet you. David, what's up? Nice setup here. Good job with the organization and everything.
How's it going?
Doing well, dude.
What's
up?
Introduce myself. I'm Brian, B-Trade. Hey,
Nice to meet you.
I appreciate it, dude. I'm always glad to hear that it reaches people. So, and thanks for coming out.
You're one of those legit people, man. Not one of those cameras.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I just try to be real and just, you know, show the ups and downs. It's not all just like how to launch a $1 million product in 1 second.
Yeah.
You know, you've heard me say it, so I don't need to repeat it. But
I like your shirt.
Hey, thank
take
you.
more risks.
Take more
Yeah, you
risks.
gotta take risks.
On that PVC.
I would be nowhere if it wasn't for taking some calculated risks, right?
Look at this tan. Who's this guy?
That's LA Tan, the LA Tan.
Today we're going to be talking about how to find $10,000 a month Amazon FBA products to sell online. So hopefully everyone's in the right spot, and it's cool. We have a really cool layout today because I'll be presenting for about like 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm going to hand it off to Sajug over there, who's going to jump into product development. And then Matt Loberstein, I know some of you know him from like YouTube and stuff. He's also here from he's from LA, he's visiting, so he'll be speaking and kind of closing it off today. Amazon just hit a $1 trillion valuation, which is crazy, about 2 days ago, and there's over 100 million Prime members. Because Amazon's responsible for 50% of all e-commerce transactions online. So that's kind of crazy, 50%. So that means like literally like 50% of like people start their searches on Amazon, and even more, they like just purchase everything from there. They're just so loyal to the Amazon platform, and people trust Amazon for their shipping times, and their customer support's awesome. For those of you that sell there, I mean, you probably hate customer support, and they're always in favor of the buyer, but that's one of the main reasons it is what it is today, is because they always favor the customer, and that's really what it comes down to when it comes to just business overall and e-commerce.
All right, thanks so much, David. Everyone, just a quick. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to bring in a little bit about the entire process as a whole and kind of share some strategies that you wouldn't find normally online. So you start out with the idea and research phase, and then you move to the vendor selection phase, the prototype proof of concept phase, the test batch phase, or also the early bird production, and then the production phase.
Cool. What's up? I'm Matt Loberstein. So I'm 26 years old. I live in Hermosa Beach, California. First time in Chicago as of about an hour and a half ago. I've been a 7-figure seller since 2016. Getting to 10K a month is easy. Really isn't as hard as it might sound. It's really a matter of launching a great product to a market that can actually sustain you being a player in that field. So first attribute of finding that is making sure you're getting into a market that actually has sufficient sales volume. There's tools that we can use, as David was showing with Viral Launch or Jungle Scout, things like that. We can literally see how much of existing products on Amazon are actually selling, which it's easy to overlook how insane it is to have access to that data, but it really is. You can't go into Walmart and ask them how many are moving on the shelf. So you literally know it's selling, and then it's just our opportunity to jump into an established market that we know what's going on, do it better, and take our piece and build our brand off of that leverage of basically taking over that part of the market. The 10K blueprint, again, just recapping on this, you found a winning product, now what? Sourcing, Sajad gave a really, really in-depth look on that. So that was extremely detailed. You should definitely think in that way, especially once you level up. If you're starting at a more modest initial budget, you may not do things that intensely from the very beginning, though all those things are absolutely imperative to growing into a real scalable brand. Sourcing, again, Alibaba, that's a terrible product idea, just using that as a funny example, but probably don't want to do that. That is a horse head mask, but Alibaba basically can go on, type in products, find manufacturers. After you find that, shipping overwhelms a lot of people, things like logistics and barcodes as well. What I'll say here is, don't worry about it. It's easy for beginners to get really, really caught up in these details, but you're not the one driving the boat. You just have to email a freight forwarder and be like, my supplier has this, now get it where I need it to go. Launching. Again, this is just part of recapping, getting to 10K. So this is a matter of, you've got the product, you build a great listing, it needs to be optimized for conversion in every single way from day one. Now, of course, reviews are a big part of conversion, and David talked a lot about reviews. You're not going to have that from the beginning, and this ties in with differentiation. You just need to be a better offer to the customer in some way.
We have a few more minutes for some questions, so if anybody has any questions pertaining to product research or anything, feel free to ask them, and I guess we'll just kind of break it up who's like best fit to answer it. So I know you raised your hand first right there.
Having your own website and funneling it into Amazon for your sales, or where you're at with that, how important is it in the scheme of things?
I think if you're starting off, it's good to have a site, but if it's like your first product, like honestly, put your focus into Amazon, launching on Amazon, getting reviews, making the product better, optimizing, and then worry about the Shopify store, and then sending traffic to the Shopify store or to the Amazon store.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it can be a distraction in the early days, but it's one of those things that's super imperative for the long term, setting yourself up for having a real brand and all of that. But don't forget to squeeze out all the traffic you can get from Amazon first. So I wouldn't necessarily focus on that from the beginning.
In the beginning especially, but not just in the beginning, what do you guys do to stay motivated and to keep going and to keep moving even when you come across really hard times?
I would say in the beginning it was impossible not to be motivated, because depending on your situation, maybe your back's against the wall, you need to make it work. For me, it was like I had to make it work, so I had no option but to just be motivated and work a lot in the early days. I think it's harder to stay motivated maybe now than it was then, for sure. But yeah, in those early days, I mean, it's just about thinking about what you're really trying to achieve, and keeping your eyes on that, and knowing that wealth or whatever it is that you're trying to get away from or get towards is probably a very worthy goal, and keeping that in mind, and I think that's a big motivator.
Yeah. So when I was in a little different situation, just because I've been doing e-commerce for a very long time. But when I got into private label, it's just knowing the opportunity of Amazon, and that it's still a good time to get in, even though there's more and more people selling it. Some markets are super saturated. It's really difficult to make money. I think it's still a really good time to jump in and start an e-commerce business. on Amazon, and I mean, a great way to like stay motivated and stuff. I mean, that's how, I mean, me and Matt like started documenting our journeys online through like YouTube, making YouTube videos, Facebook groups, networking with people, and that's helped just like build your network and surround yourself with other people doing the same thing.
If you have a OEM product already, how do we go about ODM? What are the process look like, and what are some goods and bad about it?
So if you have an OEM product already, you should already be one step ahead. An ODM product is one step behind an OEM product. ODM is when you work with the vendor just for the design. So you give them a design, they engineer it, and they manufacture it. Whereas an OEM product is where you actually give them the design, the engineering, and you're just basically giving them manufacturing instructions. So you're just giving them the sheets, the process, and saying, build this.
Thank you for coming out, everybody. Like, it was a pleasure meeting some of you in person. I mean, I've talked to quite a few of you through like Facebook and stuff. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to one of us. Both Matt and I have YouTube channels. You guys know where to find Mobley. I'll definitely post links to the presentations and to our like Facebook groups and to our YouTube channels in the meetup group. So if you have any like questions or anything out there, just reach out to us. And yeah, honestly, thank you for coming out. I know it's a mission to get here in the city, definitely during rush hour and stuff. But other than that, both Matt and I and Sajug are going to be hanging out in the back. And like I said, there's some beers, so you could take that to go, and some pizza. But other than that, thank you.
Awesome meetup. That was a hell of a meetup. Thanks a ton to David for helping mainly organize all of that, and I basically just had to show up, so that was really cool. So good to meet all of you out in Chicago. I was blown away by just the fact of how many people recognized me and knew me out here. It was like at least as many as the LA meetups. I don't know how much of it we got on camera, but just every single person like knowing me, shaking my hand, like taking pictures with me is really an interesting feeling. And I'm planning on having my talk as a separate video, assuming I got enough footage for both videos, but that is coming. That's gonna do it for this vlog style video. Hopefully there was some value packed into here as well, but the main thing is gonna be in the separate video. So yeah, keep an eye out for the full video, but that's gonna do it for this one. See ya.